Hello, class. Um, so, just a few things before we get started. Uh, Remember that if you're having trouble hearing, if you can't hear, you should um wear headphones or earbuds, something like that. Um, let's see, headphones or earbuds, and uh, sorry, having trouble thinking. If you still can't hear, please email me or message me, and I will try to fix it for you. Um, let's see. When you when you watch these PPTs on eClass or watch these videos, you need to make sure that you watch them um, without changing the video at all. You don't want to try and make the video go faster or move around the video time to later parts in the video. If you do that, eClass will mark you as not attending class, and then you won't get the attendance points. Also, um, the way that I teach these online video classes is I teach them as if I was teaching in a regular class. So you'll need things like a pen and paper or a notebook paper and maybe your textbook. For this one, you won't need your textbook, but um, I'll give you time to do work so you don't have to stop the video. You can just use the time that I give you. Uh, and You can also find this PPT on eClass. So I will make sure to put that on eClass so you have that. And I think that's everything. I think that's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we're looking at sentences, how to write sentences. And there are a few very simple rules that if you can remember these simple rules, you will uh, you will not have as many mistakes. You will have fewer mistakes if you can remember these rules. So the first is begin every sentence with a capital letter. So you can see in the example here, the sentence starts with a big I, right? So whatever the first word is, it should have a capital letter, a big letter. The next rule is end every sentence with a full stop. Full stop, question mark, or exclamation point. So every sentence has to have some kind of punctuation. Um, on my tests, if you're missing that, because that's very simple, you might lose points. I would just be careful. Just remember that. So capital letter, punctuation, end mark, right? It's very simple. If you can remember these two rules, this one and this one, you will have you will do much better than a lot of people. Okay. Um, so we're going to look at some basic. We're going to look at what a sentence needs, or how to make your sentences. So a sentence must have a complete idea, a subject, and a predicate. So um, this maybe doesn't make a lot of sense, but a complete idea has a subject and a predicate. So this looks like two different things, but it's actually one. So a complete idea has a subject and a predicate. So we have this example here. Regular exercise has become more popular. Sorry, class, just one moment. Somebody's. Okay, sorry class, I was just turning off the sound. Anyways, a sentence has a subject and a predicate. So we have this sentence here, regular exercise has become more popular. So in this sentence, the subject is regular exercise. So when we're trying to find the subject, it's easy to find. We just look for the verb. So has become is the verb phrase in this sentence. So we can always think that the predicate usually starts with an adverb, or sorry, a verb. Sometimes it can start with an adverb. So for example, I could make a sentence like, where's my text? Okay. I could make a sentence like, um, uh, okay. So in this sentence, the subject is people, but the predicate starts, let me change colors. The predicate starts here at always. So always, this is an, well, let me erase that. This is an adverb, not a verb. So adverbs just tell us how much, how often, right? Okay, so just remember it's usually a verb. Oops. It's usually a verb that starts the predicate, but it could be an adverb. So we talked about how a sentence must have a complete idea. And this sentence here looks like a sentence, right? Because it starts with a capital letter, has an end mark, but the problem is that it's missing a predicate. So it just has the subject here. So to make this a sentence, we need to add a predicate. So you can see it here, right? Different types of activities, that's just the subject. Different types of activities contribute to good health. So contribute is our verb here. And now this is a complete idea. There's a name for this kind of sentence. I'm not going to tell you it because you don't really need to know it. But for now, just remember subject, predicate. Then we have a complete idea. So we have these three examples here. And I'm going to give you just 1 minute to think about what the possible answers could be. So go ahead and take 1 minute. Okay, so in the first one, you probably got it. The answer is the striker with the headband. That's the subject. In B, London is the subject. And in C, you is the subject. And sometimes we can see sentences that just look like this. Sentences that look like this. Just stop. Or so in sentences like these, what do you think is the subject? So I'm going to give you I'm going to give you just a minute to think about that. What is the subject in these sentences? Okay, so in these, the subject is you. Hope I line these up right. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so in these, the subject is you. This is actually called an implied you or understood you. So we don't say you, but we know it's you. So you might hear a teacher like me say, "Give me your homework." And you in this sentence is you, the class. Uh, I might say, "Stop," or a friend might say, "Stop," or somebody might say, "Stop," and they might be telling you, "Stop," because you might be in trouble, or there might be some kind of problem. Anyways, it's just important to know that, or it's helpful to know that it's about the implied or understood you. So let's continue on. A sentence with one subject and one predicate is called a simple sentence. So you'll understand this more later, but for now, we're just going to call it one subject and one predicate. This is called a simple sentence. So a simple sentence has no commas, no semicolons, no full colons. The only punctuation is the full stop at the end, or we could have an exclamation mark as well. So a simple sentence is also called an independent clause, or we could say it's like an independent clause. It doesn't mean an independent means it can be a sentence alone. It doesn't need more information. We don't need to talk about this right now because this will make more sense later when we talk about complex sentences. All you need to know is that a simple sentence is like an independent clause. So yes, we will talk about this later. Okay, so now I have a little activity for you, and what I want you to do is I want you to take out your piece of paper or notebook, and I want you to write 3 sentences about yourself, or where 3 sentences where you are the subject. So you're going to say I, or my friend, or my dog, my brother, my sister, something like that. And then the topic, you actually have 2 topics to choose from. One is lunch or one is hobbies. But since you're writing 3 sentences, I'll let you decide what you want to do. So you could do 3 sentences about lunch, or 2 sentences about lunch, and 1 about hobbies, or 1 about lunch and 2 about hobbies. 1, or 3, is that right? Yeah. 3 sentences about hobbies. So I'll let you decide what you want to do. There's no good choice. There's no perfect choice here, so don't worry. And I'm going to give you, since it's 3 sentences, I'm going to give you about 6 minutes to work on this. So ready, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that's probably about enough time. So just keep those sentences. We're going to use those again later. All right. So in English, we have what are essentially four primary styles of sentences. So we have simple sentences, compound, complex, and then complex compound. We don't actually need to worry about this last one. So we're only going to focus on these first three. We just finished looking at simple sentences, so now we're going to look at compound sentences. So compound sentences are basically just two simple sentences put together, or we could say two independent clauses put together, right? Because independent clauses are like simple sentences, right? They both have complete ideas. So how do you join sentences and or clauses? You do that using fanboys. Let me hide my text here. There we go. Okay. So use fanboys. Fanboys are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So to explain this, I just have some example sentences that we can look at. So these are very helpful in getting people to understand. Of course, there are many possible examples, but this is sort of the most helpful way. So I have this sentence here. I was very lonely, for I had no friends. So for shows a reason. So we can think of for as being very, very similar to the word because. Now, well, actually, I'll point that out in a second. So just remember, for is like because. The next sentence, it was raining very hard and it was very windy. And shows an addition. So the weather, was raining. Well, the day was, whatever. Anyways, it was raining very hard and it was very windy. So the it in this is the weather, right? The weather was raining. The weather was very windy, or the day, right? So we could say these are different kinds, or different but also similar kinds of information, right? So it's important that we use similar subjects and similar information in our predicates, right? So we have it here, and also windy, very windy, raining very hard, okay? So that's and. The next one, this one is a little tricky. It's I don't like garlic, nor do I like onions. So a few things about this. When nor is not very commonly used. People know, a lot of native English speakers will know, they will know it when they hear it. But you'll notice that the way it's used, it changes the way we write the sentence, right? Or the way we write the simple sentence or the independent clause. So normally this this subject, should be here before the verb. So the way to remember this is that when we use nor, let me get my notes out here. When we use nor, we change the sentence into, or I should say, we write the sentence like a question. However, it's not a question. It's a sentence, okay? So that's why that's probably why nor is not used very much, is because we have to write it this special way, right? We have to say, do I like onions? So that almost looks like a question right here. We could almost like draw a little question mark there, right? But it's not a question. It is a sentence. It's just the way it's written. So I would say you don't really have to use nor, just know about nor. So nor is for when we have two negative sentences, right? Don't like garlic. This is like saying I do not like onions. Another way we could do this is we could just write I don't like garlic and I don't like onions, right? Another thing I also want to point out is, what is this spotlight? Oh, that's not what I want. Oops, let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of this. I don't know how to get rid of that. Maybe this will do it. Okay. All right. So another thing about this, about these sentences, is that you can see that in every one, there's a comma before the fanboys. So just remember that you need to have a comma before the fanboys. So I tell students, put the comma before the fanboys so you know where the first complete idea ends and the second complete idea starts, right? So we can basically see that, oops. We can see that here's subject, here's a predicate. Well, this is not a good example. Let me skip that one. So we can see there's subject, predicate, subject, predicate, and all of that happens is split up by this, right? Subject, predicate, comma. I'm gonna move this. Subject, predicate. Oh, maybe I should circle these. Right. Okay, so that's why I say use the commas. Let me get those out. Okay, clear all my drawings here. Okay, so for the next we have she is a beautiful girl, but she is not very friendly. So but shows a difference. So is beautiful, is not very friendly. So those are, positive, negative, right? I will take my kids to a movie, or I will stay at home. Or is often used to show choices. There are other times when we use or, but for most times we use it to show a choice. I want to lose weight, yet I won't stop eating chocolate. So yet shows an exception. So it's similar, it's kind of similar to but. I want to lose weight, but I won't stop eating chocolate daily. It's kind of similar, but it just shows that there's no change, right? So I want to do this, yet I won't change. I won't stop, okay? Mushrooms grow in wet, cool places, so they usually grow in forests. And so shows a result. So this happens first, this happens second. First, second. So you need a cool, wet place. First, there's a cool, wet place, and then mushrooms grow. Yeah, so I already talked about that. There's another way we can make compound sentences, and that is using a semicolon. So the way to think about this is we're not using a comma in fanboys, we're just using a semicolon. So this semicolon right here, this is actually, we're using this. This is a fan, like we could put a fanboys in here. We could put a fanboys In fact, I'm going to give you just 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Think about what fanboys would go in here. Okay, so I don't know if you can read my fanboys here, but the correct answer would be 4. So the largest mammals are found in the sea. 4, there's nowhere else to put them. Remember, because, right? 4 is like because, okay? So I say just know about the semicolon, don't use the semicolon. It's it seems simple, but it's actually more difficult. It can make more problems, okay? So you can use I say use fanboys, know about the semicolon, okay? So you have your 3 sentences, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your sentences, and I want you to erase the end marks, erase the periods, and then I want you to add another simple sentence or another independent clause to it by using fanboys. So I'm going to give you an example here, like I love lunch. So that's my example sentence. So I'm going to say for eating is my favorite hobby. Okay. So I added this part here to make it a compound sentence. So I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to do this. Okay, class. I'd say that's about enough for now. So hopefully you got those finished. If you didn't, don't worry, we're nearly finished with this lesson, so you can work on it afterwards. Okay, so just remember there's a few final rules that the subjects in your compound sentences should be similar or should be connected. If they are not, you might have problems. So if you're writing about me, Jamie, and then start writing about aliens, there's probably not a good connection there. There could be, I don't know. Also, compound sentences make your writings more interesting, but I also want to tell you that it's also important to use simple sentences. A good writer uses all sentence styles. I'll explain this more in another lesson, but just remember, use both. Use simple sentences and compound sentences. A lot of teachers may tell their students, make big, long sentences. I don't think that's a good idea. But I'll explain that more later. And I also would say only put two simple sentences together or only two independent clauses together. Technically, yes, you kind of can do more, but it gets really messy. So I would say just only do two. And all right, and also these are different kinds of sentences. So when we use question marks, exclamation points, and yeah, so you don't need to know these, but I just put this in here to help you. All right, so the next thing I want to pull up is your writing one guide. So you can see this, right? Okay, good. Let me clear that. So for writing one, this PPT is here to help you and help you understand how to do the writing and how it will be graded. So my advice for all students is that you download this and read it before you start writing, during your writing, and after you finish your writing, okay? Students that do this don't make mistakes or have fewer mistakes. For writing one, you are going to write 3 to 5 simple sentences and 3 to 5 compound sentences. So how many total sentences do you need to write? Well, remember, it's only 3 to 5, so the total that you need to write is 6, right? 3 plus 3. However, when you do this, I do not want you to copy your simple sentences in your compound sentences. So you can see that I have 2 examples here. So the green example is good. Jamie teaches English, Jamie plays soccer, and he likes reading. The red example is bad. Jamie teaches English, that's the simple sentence, and then the writer copies Jamie teaches English again, and he likes reading. So that's not a good, that would be, you would lose points for that. Don't do that, don't do that, okay? Don't copy your simple sentences in your compound sentences. So for your writing, I will grade you on 5 categories. The first category is preparation. So you're going to type your writing on a computer. This says print it. You're actually going to email it to me. You don't have to, I'm going to say email it. Okay. You're going to email it to me, and you don't have to worry about bringing it to class either. So just cross all this out. Oops. Let me try that again. Yeah. Okay. Students, all right. No. So you can just kind of skip this. You have to email it because that's the only way I can get it, right? If we are doing on normal classes, you would print it and bring it to class. And there's reasons why I make this rule about writing it, but it's not very important. So I'm just going to move on. For writing one, on the top left corner of your paper, you need to have writing one, your name, not Jamie. This should be your name, not mine, your student number, your class day, and class time. So if you can't remember all that, don't worry. I put this file on the PPT that you can go and download, and then you can just use this. So you would just change, your name here, change your name here, change your student number, change your class day, and change your class time, okay? And then you can see it's ready for you to write your sentences. So you don't even have to do anything. So I recommend going and doing that. And to get this, when you go to this link, you're gonna wanna go to File, Download, Microsoft Word, okay? I only want you to send me Microsoft Word. Only Microsoft Word. Only Microsoft Word, okay? Do not send me, don't send me Hangul word processor. Okay, don't send me that. Only Microsoft Word, okay? There's a lot of reasons for this, but mostly it's because Hangul word processor, when I open it in Microsoft Word, it's not the same. Like the letters are a mess, the writing is a mess. It creates a lot of problems. So just use this. Do not use Hangul word processor, okay? Content, so your sentences should be clear and understandable. Remember, sentences need a complete idea. Your sentences should be unique. Remember, don't copy your simple sentences into your compound sentences. So if it's difficult to understand or you repeat ideas or information too much, you will lose points. Editing, so I do check your grammar, your spelling, your punctuation, because you need to make your writing understandable. So I will be checking that. Also, you should never ever use ... et cetera, et cetera, nothing like this. These are not used in formal writing. So if you use this, it's -1 point. But this is how I get your editing score. So I will make marks on your paper. Like I will say, okay, if I see a spelling mistake, I'll draw a little S in a circle like this. Let me draw it. So if I see a spelling mistake, I'll just draw it right over the word S like this. And that means one mistake. So one mistake goes into the total. Then I count how many sentences you have, and I put that number here, and then I get this number. And whatever this number is, that's minus what your score is. This is -4 is very big. That's never happened. At most, it's like -2 or 3. And it's not a big problem because you can fix your mistakes later. I will explain that later when we are in class. So my big tip here is that after you finish writing, read what you wrote. You will find many problems by just reading, okay? Oh, and let me clear this. To earn a high score, or turn a high score, effort score, sorry, effort for the effort category, you have to use a variety of subjects. So don't use the same subject, like I, you, Jamie, my dog. Don't use the same subject more than 5 times. I'll say more than 4 times, sorry, 4 times. okay, then you will lose points. So 4 times is okay, 5 times is too many. Also, write the most sentences. So if you write 5 sentences for simple sentence, 5 simple sentences and 5 compound sentences, you can get the highest score. If you write only 4 of each, you'll get a lower score. If you write 3 of each, you'll get a lower score. And after that, you start losing more points. So you remember you have to write at least 3 of each, 5 total. You don't get extra points for writing more than 5 though. So don't write more than 5 because I will only grade the 5 sentences. Bonus points. So to get bonus points, you need to write, you need to use some of the grammar that we studied, and you need to underline it in the sentences. So I'm going to show you really quickly. Where's my file? I'm going to show you really quickly how you can get the bonus points. One second. Sorry, class, my computer is running really slow, and I know this is taking a long time, but we're almost finished, so. Okay. Okay, so this is the writing one guide, and I will put this on eClass, but it has some blanks that you should fill out here, like, for example, 3 to 5 simple sentences, right? So make sure you fill this out. I'm going to put this on eClass for you. And then also there's a checklist here. So you should follow this checklist. So every time you do something on this list, you can check it off so you know that you're finished. And this will make it a lot easier for you to do the assignment. Okay, so to get the bonus points, you have to correctly write and underline the full sentence, not just the present continuous verb. You need to underline the full sentence with a present continuous verb. And you need, so that's one bonus point. If you want to get one more bonus point, you can underline a sentence with be going to or will. So it's just one sentence, use either be going to or will. And if you do that, if you underline the full sentence and you use it correctly, you will get a bonus point, okay? It's important that you underline the full sentence because I will be reading many writings. And so I need to be able to quickly look and check, did you use the grammar correctly? Okay, class, that's all for now. If you have any questions or need any help, you can always message me, and I will say goodbye for now.